Welcome everyone to round 3, the final round of May 14th Star Wars Unlimited Locals Night over at Valkyrie Vault in Brownsburg, Indiana. If you guys are looking for a place to play some Star Wars Unlimited, check out Valkyrie Vault in Brownsburg, Indiana. Thursday nights, 6 p.m., $5 entry, and this is the final round of the store showdown. I am going in undefeated against Maul LOF Blue, which lost game 2, but we always go 3 games at Valkyrie Vault, so this can matter for tiebreakers, all of that, but we'll talk about tiebreakers and everything at the end of this match. So originally, when I was coming into this store showdown, I knew I didn't really have much of a problem of getting probably top 8 or anything like that. So anyways, coming into it, I was going to play Yularen Red, but after playing Yularen Red, I really didn't like him. So I decided to swap over to Thrawn Force Yellow. Right now, kind of the way to play Thrawn ever since post-rotation. And he did pretty well for me. He's a lot of fun. I just feel like he's lost a lot of his really good steam. There really isn't great ways to use when defeated. You have Legacy Run in this deck, which can do things, but it just kind of sucks because you have to find a way to kill Legacy Run to double tap your effect, or you have to use that Chimera to get Legacy Run to go off. And yeah, I mean, sure, we have the Force abilities. We have some things in here like Shadow Point can do things and stuff like that, but again, he just doesn't feel great. He does not feel great at all. It feels like he lost a lot of his heavy steam when we rotated, and it kind of sucks. He's a really, really fun leader to play. He was a really fun leader to play before rotation happened. So his whole kind of gimmick is that you're running the Force units to generate the Force to use Light's Force cards, and then your whole other secondary gimmick is double tapping when defeated abilities. Thrawn on his front side states that when you use a when defeated ability, you may tap him to use that when defeated ability. Again, he flips on 6, and then on his backside states that when you use a when defeated ability, you may use that ability again. You may only use this ability once per round, so meaning that for the entirety of the round that you are in, you can only use that ability once. So it's a hard restriction on both sides that you can't just like mass produce when defeated abilities all over the place. And folks, we don't have to talk about them. You know them, you love them. It's Maul LOF Force Blue. We've seen him enough on the channel, no need to explain him. So with that said, let's jump into game number 1. Here we go for game number 1. We're just going to roll up some dice here to see who's going to go first. I am going to get the initiative here, and I'm going to immediately start off with a Night Sister. Night Sister Warrior. My opponent's going to start with a Karis. Nothing too bad about that. I do have the Stranger Access in here. Again, being in blue-yellow, it does give you Stranger Access, which is pretty nice here. I'm going to go for swinging for 2 damage onto my opponent's base here with my Night Sister. My opponent's going to swing 2 damage at me with a Karis. Here, and we're going to go for a Shin Hati coming down shielded. We're going to have the effect of Maul ping 1 on my Night Sister, 1 on Shin Hati. And then we're going to immediately be able to knock out both with the collateral damage. I'm going to trigger the when defeated effect of Thrawn to draw 2 there off my Night Sister Warrior dying. And then I'm going to be claiming the initiative there because, again, the effect of my when defeated is not... The effect of Thrawn is not an effect that like needs an activation for the turn or anything like that. As I'm going to go for Count Dooku, I'm going to decide to if I'm deciding to go shielded pop. So I'm just going to go shielded first, and then I'm going to go ambush into the Karis. Either way works just fine because technically Karis can't use the Force to kill me either way. So that's just going to be a straight up pass there with that one. Is my opponent's just going to play a Thousand Assassin for no effect here, just so they have a Force unit on the board state. Again, being that Maul is definitely needing the Force, the best way to deal with it is to go for make sure they keep a Force unit up on the board state. I'm going to go for the Stranger. The Stranger is going to be able to kill the Thousand Assassin by using his effect of having Thousand Assassin punch me in the face first, and then I'm going to punch afterwards, allowing my grit to go off, meaning that I deal 5 damage on the attack. On the swing there, allowing me to kill off the Thousand Assassin here, keeping my opponent off the Forces. They're going to go for a Atreus Acolyte here, and then I'm going to go kill off the Atreus Acolyte with the Dark Tyrannus here, just again going for collateral damage, 2 damage to the 2 damage to Tyrannus, and then 2 damage to the base, because again the 2 damage would not kill off the Stranger and would give me actually a 7 attacking body on the board state here. We're gonna go flip for a Thrawn here. for all that, so that does allow me to flip. But we're going to go for Shadow Point onto the Stranger. I should have probably swung with the Stranger to deal more damage. We're going to go for the Legacy Run coming down to the board state here, and then we're going to go for the Maul flip, and I'm going to swing for damage my opponent's base here. Again, I haven't burnt the Force at all, so I really don't have to even worry about it because I haven't really needed any Force units. So my opponent's going to swing, and then I'm going to ping one on the Maul and ping one on the Legacy Run. Not exactly something you really want to do in this, but Maul is required to do 2 damage to something on the board state. I am just going to claim the initiative. There's nothing else I can really do in this board state. I have a lot of guys that do Force stuff, and I'm trying to find something to kill off this Legacy Run, like my 𝐂𝐲or anything. I'm not sure if I could Shadow Point my own Legacy Run. I don't think I read into Shadow Point that much, but I did get the 𝐂𝐲 to then trigger the effect. I'm not going to double tap the effect from Thrawn because there's no real point to double tap Legacy Run's effect here. We're going to go for GI, and then I'm going to punch my opponent in the face for 4 damage from there. Then I'm going to be able to swing 3 damage from, of course, the Legacy Run as well. So we're going to have to figure out what we want to do here. Again, my opponent does have the Force as well. We're going to go for no disintegrations on the 𝐂𝐲 here to deal damage until it has to basically put it on 1 health point left. And then I'm going to, some odd reason, not attack with the Legacy Run. I think because I was a little afraid of them doing, killing off my 𝐂𝐲 next turn, which is by burning the Force here. We're going to go for the 𝐂𝐲 because that is my biggest puncher right now. That was 5 damage on my opponent here. So, I mean, that's not too bad overall. As we're going to see for the GI, is going to figure out what it wants to do. Again, it does have the raid there. I'm going to take 4 damage to Thrawn here. Thrawn's going to swing for 4 damage here. Again, the Maul can't kill Thrawn, can kill the 𝐂𝐲. I do get 2 tie tokens on its death, so I could do that as well. So we're going to go for the Maul to melee kill off that by burning. Of course, no, we're not going to burn the Force. I guess my opponent wants to go do something else. They are going to go for an Anakin. Anakin is going to give -3 to the Thrawn here just so that I can't go for the double tap. And then I'm going to put down the Grand Admiral Thrawn here, taking, of course, their Anakin Skywalker here because I do not want to restand at 8-7 to my base. To their face here, and then I'm going to then draw 2 more cards, and now I have an 8-7 on my base, and my opponent's just going to scoop that one up. I've kept them off enough bodies where the point is that I have board presence, my opponent does not, meaning that I have claimed game number 1 against the all-notorious Maul LOF Force Blue. Let's move into game number 2. Here we go, folks. Game number 2. Both sides have finished up our sighting as well as finishing up our resourcing as well. Here I'm going to go for a Night Sister Warrior here, and then my opponent's just going to claim the initiative. Nothing they can really do here, and then I'm just going to pass from that one right there. So we have some very interesting things we're going to do right now in our hands. We're going to see a GI come down, and then I could play a 1-up for Owen Lars, and then I'm going to be able to swing 2 damage to my opponent's base and claim the Force here. Again, Owen Lars allows me to, when defeated, I look at top 5 and grab any Force unit, which is really nice, allowing me to, of course, go for my Strange Man. Anyways, I do also, of course, have the Dark Tyrannus in hand as well, so I could go potentially kill something. As we're going to have Owen Lars. Owen Lars is going to die here. I am not going to double tap my effect to look at the top 10 of my cards for a Force unit. That is not worth it in any capacity here. I did put a Shin's Flurry on the bottom of my deck, which kind of sucks here. And I'm going to go put down Dark Tyrannus. I'm going to kill off the GI here using my, burning my shield here. Then we're going to go for Dark Tyrannus, killing Dark Tyrannus. Dark Tyrannus is murdering everybody today. Dooku on Dooku violence. So here comes the big problem here is that I put the 𝐂𝐲 away because, again, I don't have the Legacy Run, and I'm not going to play a 𝐂𝐲 to just double tap my Night Sister so I can draw 2 cards here. Anyways, we're going to go for, of course, the Dooku. Dooku is going to kill off the Night Sister. I'm going to tap it to draw 2 more cards here, which is pretty nice here. Again, my opponent is keeping me off Force units, so I'm going to go for the Thousand Assassin to immediately kill off the Dooku there, which that probably was very questionable. Maybe I should have played out another one of my Dooku and killed off the Dark Tyrannus, now thinking about it, instead of going for the Thousand Assassin, keeping a Thousand Assassin in my hand for future play. Or anything like that, is we're going to go for a Shadow Point to kill off the Thousand Assassin, and I'm just going to claim the initiative there. Moving on to the next round here, just kind of figuring out what we want to do. As a reminder, I do not have the Force, so right now all my abilities like Shadow Point are useless to me right now. So in this game, I kind of played odd, where I kind of just do a soft pass. I forget if it's game 2. I think it is this game here, as I'm going to swing at the base for that. I tried to bait the Maul out. I have the Stranger in my hand, meaning that the Stranger does get to come in and is able to instantly kill off the Maul. So that's the thing. I'm trying to bait it, and I do try to bait it. I soft pass here thinking I can get my opponent to drag out Maul. I have the Stranger. I'm able to drag out the Maul, able to go for the win there, and then go Stranger, kill Maul in one shot. because that's the stranger can do that. Maul only has 6 health points on him. I take 5 damage. I immediately give 6 as my camera decided to go out of focus here. As we have the Dark Tyrannus attacking my base, I have Thrawn attacking my base as well here. Then we're going to go for another 𝐒𝐓𝐀𝐘 stage here. I'm trying to kind of figure out what I want to do here because I have multiple things I can play here. Again, I could try to tempt my opponent to bait them as we're going to go for a Shin Flurry with the Darth Vader here. I am going to go after my 𝐒𝐓𝐾𝐄 Sage here. So I pop one of the 𝐒𝐓𝐾𝐄 Sage's shields on both of us. I probably should have popped their Darth Tyrannus here as we're going to go for ping ping off of the Maul here. I'm just going to claim, yeah, I think that was another misplay on my part. I left a guy that deals 4 damage at my base here as the Maul is going to ping 2, and then there's no glory on the results, killing off the Vader here. Yeah, I think overall I should have maybe tried to bait the Maul to come out again to try to see if I could actually kill it here, because I believe the Vader does. No, the Vader I think is only a 5, so you can't kill them all in one shot here. I do finally show my opponent I do have the stranger there. I was trying to bait them a couple of turns back to go for the Maul play there, but they knew exactly what I was doing, and yeah, it was a bait. It was definitely a telltale sign that I was baiting them. Anyways, we're going to have the 𝐒𝐓𝐾𝐄 Sage kill off that, and then we're going to swing 4 damage on my opponent's base. And here, like I said, I think, honestly, I should have just gone for the Dark Tyrannus with the Vader and killed off the Dark Tyrannus while he was shielded instead of that. Because then I wouldn't have taken 4 damage to my Thrawn here. So I'm going to go for a Shin Hati down on the battlefield instead of going for the Legacy run there. Because, again, I could have... No, Legacy run's a 5 cost, not a 3 cost. So the Shin Hati's coming down as well, coming in shielded for all of that. So anyways, we're going to go for ping ping. That is going to kill off my Thrawn here. At this point, I probably should just swing the Shin into the Dark Tyrannus, forcing off, of course, all that. So, or I can go my Dark Tyrannus and kill off his Dark Tyrannus here. Because again, I need to keep him off the Force. I don't know why I decided that it's a good idea to give my opponent who needs the Force back. You know, all of that, instead of everything else. So anyways, we're going to go for the Legacy run here because I do have the Chimera. We're going to go for the no glory and the results immediately being able to kill off my body here because, again, he does get the trigger off of the when defeated ability. I am going to go for Dark Tyrannus onto that one, which I could have kept in hand. We're going to go for Thousand Assassin killing off that right there. That would have been a good reason why we do not let our opponent have the Force. That would have stripped them immediately out of having the Force. That Thousand Assassin would have been dead in their hand. They couldn't have done anything with it. So that is my purpose right there where I'm like, there's just nothing. Why did I do that? And again, we're going to go for the turret. Again, no glory on the results. Maybe it would have been, that was a risky kind of play with the Legacy run there. We're going to use the Force there to take 2 damage back from the attack here. And then I'm going to play down a 𝐂𝐻 on the battlefield as well. And I'm kind of seeing that the game is getting out of hand on my side. So we're going to go for an Anakin. I'm not able to keep my board control under my opponent at all. My opponent is keeping their board control. And I'm just going to claim the initiative here. And then my opponent is going to be able to go for a 𝐂𝐻, much like I did. And all that. I do have another Shin Flurry, but unfortunately I'm missing a Vader to really play with it. Because I have to play out a Force unit and then give it ambush. And I don't even have a Thousand Assassin to play or anything. So I'm like, I could go 𝐂𝐻 and all that. So anyways, I'm just going to trade out. I'm not going to use the ability of 𝐂𝐻 on death. Because again, I could double tap it randomly if you somehow had the ability to gain 2 Force tokens on 1 turn. Anyways, we're going to go for another 𝐂𝐻 down in the board state here. And it just feels like I'm just kind of right now up my slope as we're going to go for an �HK-47, a nice pretty �HK-47 too, the Black Series one. We're going to go for Shatterpoint off the Anakin there. But yeah, I mean, if I had just done the way I said Shin Hati or done Dark Tyrannus into Dark Tyrannus, and here's we're going to go for Thousand Assassin giving a -3, and then that's just going to be the end of that one. Then we're going to go for the Axe forgets to kill off the 𝐂𝐻 there, just knocking off my opponent from damage, and then we're going to go collateral damage to deal 2 damage. Deal 3 damage to my base here, because 2 damage to kill off the 𝐂𝐻, 1 damage from the 𝐻K off seeing the death, and then 1 more damage, and then the 2 damage off the collateral here. And I'm kind of right now seeing that the game is just definitely out of hand right now. There's just nothing I can really do. I could play out the Sun, but it really doesn't do much for me here. I mean, yeah, you could play it, but I don't have the Force to give other friendly units +2. But anyways, we're going to have 4 damage swing in. That's going to create the Force here. And then I'm going to go for the 𝐒𝐓 under the �HK-47. Not sure why I even did that. Kind of not really a good idea. I mean, yeah, I guess I protect myself from taking damage to my face, but now my opponent's going to go no disintegration, and they're going to be able to go for Maul, immediately killing the Sun there. I mean, this game is just going crazy here. And there's nothing I can really do here as the 𝐂𝐻𝐾 is going to swing. I'm just going to showcase I can stop the 𝐂𝐻𝐾 from hitting me in the face. But there's not much else I can really do here. So, I mean, what else am I going to do? This is just game right here. I'm at 20 health, 28 health base, but I'm just going to hit the Thousand Assassin here. And then that's going to be able to go for that. I'm going to showcase, my opponent's going to showcase, I'm going to get rid of the rule of 2 there. It's not a great hit there because we know for a fact they have the Scion there and all of that. Technically, I should be dead. But yeah, I mean, I do realize that I'm at 28. I am dead right there. So I think misplaying in game number 2, seeing it now, I should have gone after that Dark Tyrannus with my Shin Hati, or had played my 4 and just gone for the Dark Tyrannus there, because my opponent didn't have the Force, meaning that any unit they played like that Thousand Assassin, which got advantage for them, wouldn't have happened. I would have had the Shin Hati still standing, and I could have gone Dark Tyrannus over his Dark Tyrannus, knocking it out, reducing his ability to use the Force and have the Force active, meaning that at that point I could do that. Now, again, there was the aspect maybe I should have not played on turn 5. I should have just done some other things, but the problem was I really wanted to try to go for the bait off the Maul, and then there could have been, when I did the Vader, I could have done the Vader a whole lot better there, where I could have done Vader, kill off Dark Tyrannus, and then smash into a shield there, as well into a Secretive Sage, and still gotten hit with no glory on the results. So yeah, I mean, what are you going to do? I mean, I'm thinking that after all of that, I should have seen the line where knock out his Force ability and try to force him to kind of play into needing the Force, and that's where you could have easily done it from there, where I could have been on the foot of having the Force and having units that could gain me the Force, and pushing my opponent to have to counteract that by trying to get units that give them the Force, and I could have counteracted that way and eventually maybe have been pushed for the game. So I think that's where I could have messed up, where I didn't have to force a game 3 here, where I could have gotten the game by seeing the line of, hey, I could have stripped you and forced you to play units until you gain the Force back, where I can then counteract those plays by punching you in the face and forcing you to constantly figure out a way to gain back the Force. So, with that said, it's time for that all-important, delicious game number 3. Folks, welcome to game number 3. It is time to play the game. It is time to go forward. I have already set up everything. We both have decided on what we want to side and all of that. So my opponent is placing down their resources right now. And unfortunately, the first time, I think the entire 3 matches I've had, I did not open with a Force unit. I opened with a Krennic. I did not open with the Forces. I'm going to just drop out Director Krennic, which means all my win defeated abilities do get 1 less. My opponent, unfortunately, did not see a 2 drop either. I do have a 3, but unfortunately, it's not a great 3 right now because, yeah, I could go Kadim. We're going to go for Atreus Acolyte, and then I'm going to swing to, I should have kept the Hope for Questioning in hand there, but I did draw into another Hope Questioning. I am just going to claim the initiative here. My draws right now are absolute garbage, as you can clearly see. Yeah, that's some hot garbage I got there right now. Anyways, my opponent is taking the initiative there. They're going to be able to gain the Force by punching my Krennic in the face for 2. I am going to be able to play the Legacy run 1 cheaper because of the fact of Krennic able to me play it for 4, reducing its cost here. And then we're going to go for Dark Tyrannus. Dark Tyrannus is going to be able to kill off the Krennic, taking 2 damage and then being shielded. And we're now seeing that I am basically screwed. I also could have played the Krennic, the director, Grand Admiral Thrawn on turn 6 as well. It's just hilarious. Anyways, we're going to go for Hope for Questioning. I'm going to do the Dark Tyrannus. And look at that hand, everybody. Woo! So, I mean, the best option here is literally no glory on the results so that my opponent doesn't know glory on the results, my Legacy run, and then basically negate the damage there. So, I'm trying to figure it out because right now the fact is, like, it really sucks because is it no glory results or is it rule of 2? Either way, it's just not great to see that in my opponent's hand here. We're going to swing 3 damage from the Legacy run at my opponent here. And then, of course, they're swinging 2 damage from the Atreus Acolyte. Again, they do have the ability to go for no glory on the results and then just kill the Legacy run but not get any value out of the Legacy run. But now I know they have it, and that kind of really sucks because, again, there's not much I can even do. Like, I could see the argument for going for both because like rule of 2 is active as well because technically you do have 2 Sith right now on the board state and technically next turn you have Maul flipping. So technically there's no great way. Like Liberty is like the only way you'd be able to strip all that off. So I mean like, yeah, there's just like nothing I could have really done in that hand. And again, like I said, if I had seen the line in game 2, this may not have even gone to a game 3 here. So anyways, my Dark Tyrannus is going to swing in there. I'm going to go for Hold for Questioning. I'm then going to be able to strip out the no glory on the results, just protecting my legacy run just so I don't have to worry about it hitting me in the face here. So anyways, we're going to go for Thousand Assassin. We're going to be able to use the effect here. We're going to kill off both those, and we're going to then hit the we're kind of deciding it here. Anyways, 1/6 has to go into, of course, oh, shoot. I think I could have actually wiped that board there. We're going to go for the Kadam on the Maul there as I'm going to flip over my thing. We do know, I did not, I think I knew my opponent had a Outer Rim Constable there as we're going to swing for Maul, swing for damage in my thing. But I think I could have actually cleaned that board out when I did the Legacy run. I'm just going to pause it here real quick. I'm trying to think, could I have done that? You do 6 damage divided however you want to. So for the first 6, I could have painted the shield off Tyrannus and killed Tyrannus. No, I couldn't have killed Tyrannus in that one. But I could have pinged the shield off Tyrannus, gone 4 damage. That would have been 1. Then 4 damage over here on the Trey's Acolyte, killing the Acolyte, and then 1 damage on the Assassin. Then the other 6, I could have done 3 and 1. So I could have killed off both if I had just done, if I took a second to think on the math of Legacy Run, because I had 12 damage coming divided how I choose. I could have pinged, killed, ping, then killed. I could have wiped the board clean to the point where the only thing on the board state is a Maul. That is it. A Maul and then a Outer Rim Constable. That is it. I could have cleaned the entirety of the board and reset everything. So yeah, that's another misplay on me. I should have paused to really think about the math here, as we're going to go for a we're going to swing Maul into Grand Admiral Thrawn here, and then I'm going to just be able to claim the initiative here, and then move on to moving from there. Just having Maul kill, of course, that, and then like I said, this would have been the point where it just would have been an Outer Rim Constable and a Maul. Then it would have been just perfectly fine here. So we're going to have Maul Thrawn kill off Maul here just so we can have those both off. And then that would have had even no force for my opponent to even use if I just used my brain. Anyways, we're going to go for the CR90 Corvette here. And then we're going to have 3 damage coming in from, of course, the Outer Rim Constable as well. And then we're basically going to see that CR90 die immediately, giving my opponent the heal off there. And then that's going to just be a pass from there. And because I still have not stabilized any force in this entire deck yet, we're just kind of just dead here. So yeah, I mean, game 2, I saw a pathway that I probably could have forced the game to go my way. Game 3, I had a way to clean the board state completely up to the point where there was no force units, and I could have played this Thrawn out and taken like that Constable and then done all of that. So yeah, I mean, you live and you learn, folks. You live and you learn. This is why I like to watch these, because I actually realize just all my effects here is we're going to go for no disintegrations on the Thrawn, and then the Thrawn is going to die to then the Maul trigger, because again, the force is active, but that would have never happened again if there wasn't a force trigger, because again, they got the force trigger off of all of that. Now, again, the Maul would have swung and given them force anyways, but they could have been a little different here for all that. We're going to go for the 𝐒𝐓𝐀𝐘𝐄 on the GI, killing off the GI here so I don't take the 4 damage from the GI, and then we're going to take 4 damage off that one, and then basically I'm dead because I completely forget, not really, because I'm going to go no gore on results to kill off the Outer Rim Constable, murking it off, and then we're going to see another GI, and there's just nothing I can do here. I don't have any way to, like, play any way to protect myself. Now I did draw into a turret, which is pretty nice. I am able to protect myself with a turret. I guess that is something. I technically could use Shadow Point to kill off the Dark Tyrannus here, and yep, it doesn't really matter anyways because my opponent's just going to drop Devastator for the game. That's overkill right there. So in the end, my Maul LOF Force Blue was able to get the win, but again, I saw 2 lines that may have been able to force me to get the game or force it in weird. I think game 2 was the best way. If I just taken 2 minutes or a couple maybe another minute or so, or 30 seconds to see the line of going Dark Tyrannus, killing off, popping, using my shield, the shielded ambush, kill, then Shin Hati for 4. And then from there, my opponent had to play something. Then I could easily go Shin Hati for. Then I could easily just claim the initiative after they played something, or if they soft passes, claim the initiative and constantly keep one guy up on the board state at all times, keeping my opponent off from going into the force and pushing them into a game state of you need to get a body to stick that has the force tag so that you can gain the force. And that probably would have been able to win me out the game at that point because I had enough stuff to keep control where if they had a way to play a guy that could get the force, I had Shatter Point to kill and I still had Shin to constantly give me the force. So that's just a big misplay on my part. I just didn't see it. And this one, I could have cleaned up the board if I had just done Legacy Run right. But yeah, lesson of the day for me and for many people. Take some time. I know that in big PQs and big events, you don't get a lot of time, but try to take some time. Try to think about your plays. Don't just bum rush into everything. Really take some time. I do always try to really think about some time when I'm playing a lot of times in these casual matchups of how I want things to go, but a lot of times I just kind of jump into one pathway and then it kind of just screws me over. Instead of where now after videos, I'm like, oh, I could have taken that pathway and forced the game to go longer or extend out the game to be different. But yeah, I mean, it's always good because I do like just kind of sitting down, seeing where I misplayed and stuff like that and seeing how I can improve myself. And a lot of that is just really needing to sit down and just like literally take some time to think about my plays of where I can do some things to really constrict my opponent to where I can force the game state to be in my favor rather than my opponent's favor. But nonetheless, guys, weirdly enough about this, because I lost and I went X1 and my opponent over here was X1, tiebreaker wise, I was able to still win it and get top 1. I think I would have gotten 2 if either way, but I was able to get my champion, my finalist, and my top 4, Maul. Congratulations for me. Yay. But nonetheless, guys, it was still a lot of fun. I did walk away with the champion Maul. I wish it was a better legendary than the champion Maul. Or Maul from the set that has seen little to no play at all. I don't even know if a deck can even physically play that right now. But nonetheless, guys, I got in the end. These were some very close games. I think, honestly, if I had done some calculations in Game 2, I think I could have won it easy and flat. But we only had 6 people for this event, so everyone got to walk away with a top 8 finishing of them all and all of that. But nonetheless, Thrawn Force Yellow. Thrawn JTL Force Yellow was able to take the win just barely. Got 1 win off the Maul, but could have potentially gotten the entire game off the Maul. So with that said, guys, let me know your thoughts down in the comments on the gameplay. And while you guys are commenting, do make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you know if I have my videos. Good luck for you, and we'll see you next time. I'm Dragons TCG.